Live from the Fox Den. This is Bad Guys and Bourbon. I'm Courtney B.
I'm Taylor DeYoung.
And this is a show where we talk about movies, film, TV, pop culture, bad guys, and most importantly,
Bourbon.
what we got today. Welcome to episode 4.
It's a big day, guys. We got all the way to 4 episodes.
4.
This
That
is
is
the
a-
last one we ever do. Finale. All right, so
Finale.
we're gonna do a couple of great things on this episode. One is we're gonna drink this Bullet 95 Rye 12 year.
Bullet
Get it
is
right here.
It's like one. It's the brand of it is like the upper echelon of good rye.
I'm
Or
a
good
huge
whiskey.
Bullet fan.
Yeah.
Really big Bullet fan. I've never had this 95 Rye, this 12 year.
You texted me. You were like,
I've never seen this.
"This is
before.
not even on the website." And I
It's
was
not
like,
on the website. I'm not totally sure where it came from, but if you search for it, you can find it some places. It's pretty scarce though. It's not super common. So I'm excited about that. That's first and foremost. And the second thing that I'm really excited about is we're going to talk about True Detective Season 3. I'm a big True Detective fan, so this is a big episode for me. Very excited about it.
I was just saying we're a regular Hayes and Roland right now.
A little bit.
Little Ebony and Ivory action.
That's true. All right, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and pull the cap
pour
on
some.
that.
Pour some.
You can pour everybody a glass. Let's get fact checking Josh in on this as well. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna do a brief little recap synopsis of season 3.
Yeah,
just a
go.
reminder, while we're doing all of this, we are gonna be spoiling things.
And we're not experts. We're just fans.
That too.
We're just
So,
talking about it.
Spoilers are happening. We're also not experts. That's why we have the computers. We don't remember everyone. We don't remember everyone's.
Don't remember everything because
Right?
tune in to episode
It's
1
not
to
gonna
find out why.
happen. We're not gonna do it. If you're looking for guys that know every character's name,
Know what they're talking about.
This is not your show.
this is not your show.
If you're looking for some guys who just like talking about this
Exactly.
shit and love it, this is your
So
show.
we're gonna get into it though. So this season, season 3, right, takes place in the Ozarks over 3 separate time periods. Okay, we have 2 detectives, partners, right, and they're investigating a macabre crime involving 2 missing children.
Da, 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 da.
All right.
Fact or
So that is the brief synopsis. Okay.
Who?
And oh, great! This is already poured, ready to go. Let's do a quick little sip, real fast.
Real toast. Mm-hmm. And this is a rye. Can you? Let's take our toast first.
Let's do the toast. Well, that's a pleasure.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
That's really good.
It has a hint of mint.
It does.
A small hint
It's
of
kind of like
mint.
refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I mean,
Okay.
you can never miss with Bullet. So.
That's true. It is fantastic. I'm gonna set that over there. All right. So we've done the brief little synopsis. I think one thing that's important though is that we kind of
Let me get
there's
it
a
to
lot
you.
of fan theories about how this season
Yeah.
not really played out, but there's things that are happening kind of beneath the surface that really haven't been revealed, right? Like there's some plot holes.
Yeah.
There are some storylines
Some
and
stuff
some
that
things that
just
are unsolved.
doesn't
so
lead anywhere, yeah.
I'm going to do a quick little recap of how we're going to talk about the show, the
Okay.
storyline that we're going to follow,
Sure.
because we're not going to get super lost in the weeds on like the what ifs. All right. Again, this is where the spoilers are really going to happen. Okay, so
Let's do it.
essentially, all right, Edward Hoyt's daughter, okay, Isabel, lost her husband and little girl in a car accident. right? And
Yep.
she was essentially never the same ever again.
She was
that
fucked
makes
up.
sense. That
She
holds
was-
up.
she
That'll
lost
screw
it.
you
Yeah,
up.
that will mess
right?
you up.
Okay, so eventually, some time passes, right, and she spots Julie Purcell, who is a young girl.
Who's a major
One of-
plot device
There you go.
in this entire series.
Correct.
Yep.
And she spots her at a company picnic and thought that she kind of had similar characteristics, looked very similar to her daughter that
yep.
she lost. Okay? So she instructs the household manager. Okay, we're gonna talk. He's Mr. June. That's what
Mr.
we're gonna
June.
refer to him as.
Good
He's referred to
old-
that in the show, but and he has a full name, but we're gonna go with Mr. June.
Good old
So
Mr.
he
June.
basically sets up this arrangement essentially, okay, where Isabel gets to play with Julie every so often, all right, and kind of gets to relive the glory days of
having her
her
child.
okay?
It kind of brings her back to reality.
Indeed.
Right?
All right.
Which-
Yep. So her mother, okay, Lucy, agrees to this arrangement, but in exchange for cold, hard cash. Okay, and then the one stipulation is that the brother, Julie's brother, has to accompany her on all of these play dates.
Kind of like a overseer to just be there and be eyes and ears, make sure no weird crap is happening. But at the same time, you're selling your kid off. So what did you expect?
No good. Right? No good. So eventually, Isabel decides that she wants to adopt, okay, the daughter. Okay, she wants to
Make her her own.
adopt Julie, right? And that does not go over super well. And at some point, there is essentially a little scuffle that takes place out in the woods. And Will, who's her brother, essentially
Is hurt.
gets
Killed.
killed,
he gets
essentially, a little bit more than hurt. But there's a tragic accident, essentially, and the brother dies. So now we have this really weird situation where we have Isabel, the daughter, the dead brother. So
It's too much.
It is too
It's
much.
just
So anyway,
it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
yes.
A lot of characters.
And Isabel, okay, decides to go all in on this and kidnaps
Just takes her.
Julie.
Just the brother's dead.
Yeah.
They stage this murder and just take off with Julie.
Correct. Bought and sold. All right. So Julie is taken back to the Hoyts estate, where she is confined to a room that they call the Pink Room. Okay,
Locked
that's
away.
referenced a lot in the show
Yeah.
this season, and that's essentially where she resides for quite a while. Okay, and Isabel's mental state essentially begins to kind of fail and
Again,
fall apart.
yeah.
She's not taking her prescription medication.
She loses it.
and she begins to actually drug Julie with lithium, is the official drug I believe that they
Yep.
state in the show. Right, and as a result of that, Julie becomes complacent. She struggles with her memory. She's not really. She's not really
there.
holding on
She's
to the
not there,
past.
yeah.
She kind of becomes this new person essentially. Doesn't really remember her former life, right? And after some time, Mr. June, who's kind of helped originally facilitate this whole
Mr.
relationship, right, decides that he's going to help her escape. Okay. And in the
He
process,
tries to right his wrong, yeah.
he essentially tries to right his wrong. And in the process of this happening, Julie goes rogue. She goes rogue for whatever reason. She decides she's not going to stick to the plan, and she just tears out of there, does her own thing, and Mr. June kind of loses touch with her. Okay, can't find her. And his original plan was to help her, was to kind of get her out of this whole terrible situation. And then if we go back to the show a little, I mean, not go back to the show, but if we go back into the timeline a little bit, this is actually, I think, in the point of the show where the security photo surfaces of her in Walgreens.
This is about, what, second episode?
Yeah, and she's maybe
Second
a
or
little
third?
later than that. I'm not positive. But she's essentially discovered in Walgreens, in security footage, she's stealing stuff. And that's because she likely just broke out of this.
Well, her
place,
prince
right?
showed up.
Correct, but then they get the
yeah.
security
And then
tape
they get
of
taped,
her.
and it is her, yep.
Yes, exactly. So, and then, speed round here, she runs away to a convent. They fake her death. She has a child with her pal Mike Ardoin, not really sure. They grow up happily ever after, right? And so this is like, as far as the kids missing and the crime and the actual, gut of the show, this is what we're going to follow. This is the realm that we're living in. Like I said, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and that's totally cool. But
And
this
everything
is
you just
our
heard
space.
is honestly not really revealed until the later end of the season.
Correct.
So
Like the
I
last
hope
5
you're not
minutes.
still watching if you have not seen it.
Sorry, we said something about
My hand is
spoilers.
here. Stop it. Go back and watch it, and then come back to my hand and you can pick up where you left off.
God, this is very good. All right, so we're gonna burn through some fun facts real quick. That's one of my favorite parts of the show. Again, I'm sorry that I'm doing a lot of reading off my screen, but we're gonna get over that here pretty quick.
We're not experts, and we need something. We don't have a budget yet, so we're like
Keeping track.
we're trying to stay on topic
Keeping track.
and not just talk in the holes. You know what I mean?
All right, so there aren't tons of like fun facts for season 3. There's a few, but I brought in a few fun facts from other seasons just so we can kind of beef this section up a little bit. So
Beef it up.
Christian Bale and Jessica Chastain, okay, were originally pursued for lead roles
Oh,
in the 2nd season,
I watch Christian Bale in anything.
but they essentially turned that down. I don't know, that would have been really good. I'm glad that they didn't do it, because I wasn't really a fan. But
I enjoyed Mahershala Ali and who plays my guy Roland.
it would be Stephen Dwarf. So moving on. First season, interestingly enough, entirely shot on film.
Mm-hmm.
Weird little thing there. Unusual. True Detective Season 1 was originally planned as an HBO original miniseries, but HBO was so impressed with it that they actually turned it into a continuing series.
Yeah.
It kind of keeps going on. Probably a mistake, but I digress. Okay.
Season 2.
According to Matthew McConaughey, the entirety of Rust Cole's interview scenes were all shot in one day. He rattled those off, just back to back to back.
I could see that, and I probably would have loved.
It's like a 400-page script,
Yeah.
400-plus page
And
script.
he just shot through it.
Shot through it. Incredible. Fantastic. Does not surprise me.
That's why I was so hooked to see season 3 because it went back to true form of season
Hooked
1.
for season 1. Hooked for
Ooh.
season 2. I mean, hooked for all.
We'll get there.
We're going to get there. Okay. Nick Pizzolatto, creator of the show, originally he stated that this season 3 wasn't intended for the True Detective, universe or series and whatnot. It was written as something different than that, and then he decided to
Tie it in.
Tie it in.
Yeah.
Another really cool thing, it was shot in Arkansas, okay?
Mhm.
It was the largest and most expensive production
In
ever in the state of Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Lasted almost a year from start to finish,
Really?
which is like an incredibly
Long time.
long.
For a TV show. I mean, well, they
Yeah.
shot it like a movie, but
Is this season 3 you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Which is like insane. Now I
That's
remember
really long.
reading like when it was in production that there were a lot of issues, there were director changes, a lot happened behind the scenes, and we'll get to that later. But essentially, it really extended the production time. But according to I can't remember exactly who it was, but there was an interview. Somebody in Arkansas was saying how great it was for like the economy and all these things because they were there for essentially a year. Like it was like this really big deal.
yeah, creating jobs and whatnot. Yeah.
The last thing we're gonna do, Nick Pizzolatto, back to this guy.
Our guy.
Spent 4 years of his life in Arkansas, actually, Fayetteville. He was a student of the University of Arkansas. Okay? So,
Arkansas.
Yeah.
I can't say Arkansas without saying Arkansas.
Josh has given us a thumbs up on that. That is
correct.
factually correct.
That is
All right,
correct.
so we're going to move out of the fun fact phase. That was a blast. I
facts
think
are
we all
over.
had a good time. Now we're going to do a little bit of a first impression. This is going to be a real pivotal moment of this episode. And that's going to be first impressions of season 3. This
Hot
is
takes.
kind of like a hot take.
Right off the grill. I'll go. I'll start.
You start.
I was extremely excited for season 3 after I saw who the cast was, and then the rumors of it going back to true form of season 1 because Matthew McConaughey sold it and Woody Harrelson sold it so much for me that the letdown of season 2 kind of pushed me off, and then I saw they were going back, like the form that they shot season 2 in, and then they were going back to the original, like telling the parallel stories with season 3, and super excited, like off the radar, like I'm tuning in every Sunday. This is gonna be my show. Slow burn, slow burn, slow burn. So I had a high anticipation with a slow, gradual. I'm not gonna say let down because I still enjoyed it.
Give me the hot take on the end, though. Like,
Uh,
and like you, okay.
terrible ending.
Thank you. That's
Terrible
what we're
ending.
looking for.
Terrible ending. I don't want to beat it in the hole, and we do this show because we like to talk about things we enjoy, and we're talking about this because we're passionate about it, and I'm passionate about it because I feel like that ending let me down, man.
It did.
I was with it all the way through, and I won't get into detail, but I just feel like that ending could have really took us in a different direction, and it didn't.
Yeah. I would say, so for kind of my hot take, True Detective is probably one of my top TV shows. It's one of the things that I care the most about. I look forward to it. The rumors are always like very captivating for me. I love the plot lines that are taking place kind of beneath the surface. True Detective Season 1 really did a number on me. Wrecked me.
So good.
Wrecked me. And here we are 3 seasons later. I'm totally bought into it. I'm like trying so hard to get back to some of those
Tell them why you mad, son.
some of those things, some of those components, those pieces, those dynamics of Season 1. I want those things so bad. And what I'm coming to find is I'm increasingly let down. So sad.
Oh.
All right, so I thought the beginning of it was extremely slow, and I think the payoff was extremely terrible, in my opinion.
This is just our opinions. We're not critics. You can tear us apart in the comments.
I mean,
or
you
whatever.
are critics.
We are critiquing it,
You are
and that's
criticizing
fine.
it.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All of that to say that doesn't mean that there aren't good things that are happening. It doesn't mean that there aren't great moments or really well
I had a lot of
done
good moments.
components to the show. It just means that for many episodes, I was consistently bored by what was going on. And then the payoff, what I was holding out for, which I was putting all my boredom aside.
Because
in
I wanted
hopes
to
of
see the payoff. Yeah.
And the payoff was
Not.
really lackluster, anticlimactic. It was not what I was looking for or hoping for or
You
speculating
put your blood,
upon.
sweat, and tears into a Happy Meal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you didn't even get a toy.
So those are our hot takes, and I'm going to say this much. So our hot takes are not great for this show, and that's kind of a bummer. So what I'm going to try to do, we're going to see if we can get somebody on the phone that can give us a hot take that's
Let's
a little
call,
bit more positive. I've
who
got
we'll call?
somebody in mind. We're going to try a couple of people, but I've got somebody in mind right off the bat.
Do some live calls this episode. We'll
And
switch it up a little bit.
We're going
Okay.
to have to see if the speakerphone piece works. Josh, can you?
Yeah.
We getting this in the room mic?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
All right. Are you getting this, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, Graham, welcome
Yeah.
to the show.
Hey, thanks. I'm trying to get to a spot where
welcome.
I can hear you. All right, what's going on?
That's great. So we're here. We just did hot takes on season 3. So this is essentially the part of the show where we just give our
Right.
initial impressions. And like
Season 3 already?
Yeah.
we've not done season 1 or 2 yet. We're just doing season 3 right now.
Just because it's hot.
Just because it's the current season. So this is the hot takes portion. We're looking for just one line, your opinion of the show, how it left you feeling essentially once all was said and done.
I feel like they set an undertone of tension intentionally throughout the whole thing. And how I felt at the end was relieved. I
Okay.
didn't think, I mean, I thought and kind of hoped, I guess, like everybody else, but that it would be something that was, exactly what we wanted it to be. Some big showdown, like at the end of season 1 in the Carcosa or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're just glad it was
Yeah.
over.
I was relieved. Like, I was like, once you get to the pink room and you're like, oh man, this is some nasty stuff. It's exactly what I thought it would be, / it's kind of what I want it to be. And I want it to be just like season 1, and I want to have that feeling at the end. The whole season was slow, but at the end when it was over, I was kind of like, I guess they'll never know. And that's fine. It's fine. And
All right. So
I liked it.
You liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, man. I've got.
I know that's okay. That's
on my
that's why we called you, because we figured you could kind of bring some balance to the show.
And you said you're fine with them not knowing. Is that what you said?
I mean, I wanted it to, explode, everybody to figure out what was going on, and it to be something other than, oh, her name is Lucy.
Got it.
True. Okay.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I put it all together now, but it's not like there was thoughts of, the kind of organizations in the pedophile ring from season 1 would end up being, because they would have been on a timeline if you were to try to bridge the two, the same kind of organization that could have been connected to this. And so there was a lot of talk about that. I thought that would be cool, but also weird. But then if it was something just kind of really sick and dastardly, they basically made us think the entire time that it was going to be one thing, and when it wasn't what everybody wanted it to be, and it ended kind of abruptly, I think that bothers anybody.
Oh, definitely.
So as a True Detective fan, it's not my favorite thing that happened, but, I think it's a lot better than season 2. I had fun the whole time, and I want season 4.
All right. Very good.
Thanks, Graham.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys rock. That's it.
See you, buddy.
Thank you.
That was our buddy Graham, Taylor's brother,
Amen.
one of our in-house guys. He loves True Detective like we do, and he obviously has a clear, different opinion.
He feels good about it. That's great. I mean, and here's the thing. This brings me to another point, which the critical response to this, generally speaking, was actually pretty good. It wasn't super negative. So, for example, if we look at Rotten Tomato scores, season 1 is 87%, which is high, but not as high as I would have thought it would have been. I would have thought it would have went
93 low.
at
Rotten
least.
Tomatoes can be a harsh critic.
Can be.
It can be.
It's
Their
true.
algorithm,
All right. Season
Fact
2,
checking,
64%. Which, again, also interesting
64?
because 64%, because that's still fresh. That's still like a fresh
So
rating.
don't get me wrong. Season 2 was frustrating to follow the narrative. It was still okay to watch.
Sure.
Visually, it was still captivating. I still can't tell you what happened.
In 2?
Yeah,
And I've watched it a few times. It's tough. Season 3 lands at 84%. So it's
still lives as a
season
good
1
name.
and season 3, we're talking a 3-point.
An A, a C, and then
Difference.
season 3 gets a B. Yeah, okay. All right.
So we're, I feel like most people I've spoken to have been relatively unhappy with the season, but it's, it seems like a lot of people have actually enjoyed it for the most part.
Did you say what season 2 was?
Season
The
2
rated?
came in at 64%, so quite a bit lower for sure, but not tragic by any means. I don't know. All right. So we're gonna move into the questions because we're done with the impression part. So we know how we feel about it. We've got that kind of out of the way, right? So
Opening my laptop.
let me give me dislikes and likes about season 3. Pull out some good things. A good thing. What did you like the most about season 3? What did you like the least about season 3?
What I liked the most about season 3 was the triple layer of storytelling.
Timelines.
Yeah, the triple,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
And they did a great job visually identifying what period of time they were in for each. So the first one was the 70s?
I agree with you.
Yeah, just got back from Nam. So the second one was
80s, I think.
80s, 90s.
I think
And
it's
then-
70s, 80s,
Because the case closed in
2000s maybe.
80. No, case closed in 90. The first time. And then the second time it closed.
Josh can probably confirm this. He's
Can't-
working on
can't-
it.
I'm not. Don't quote me. But they did a great job of capsulizing what periods of time they were in, which I thought was awesome.
It was pretty clear throughout the show which
you didn't
timeline
need a
you were in.
caption or
Sure,
subtitle,
sure.
a year in the corner.
And there
You
were
could
some
just-
clever
yeah.
editing techniques and some things that really
Sometimes they try to sell it too much.
Yeah.
I was like, he looks in the mirror and then
all of a sudden
it just that
he walks
that was
out of
a
the
little
bathroom and he's
too-
old. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, a little too superhero movie.
I'm with you.
And I
Okay,
didn't need
so
there.
that was your like, your big like. What was your
My
biggest dislike? Biggest.
I didn't like how the threading of some of the stories just went nowhere. For instance, the son, he plays Cyborg in Justice League.
Yes, that's right.
A small thing, like he ended up sleeping with the reporter. Like you find that out. They hint at it in one episode, but why was that needed? And then it went nowhere.
Yeah.
It just went to them having a conversation about it.
So that particular character arc was like your least favorite, essentially, or you're just
Well,
saying
that was an
a plot
example.
hole that
There's another
bothered
one.
you. We're going for like the thing that bothered you the most.
That as a whole bothered me the most because I was like, at the end of it, I was like, why are there so many stories that go nowhere?
Yep. Okay, I'm with you there.
Right?
Yep.
The stories with his daughter.
Yeah.
What?
I'm so mine are similar to that,
What?
right? So my favorite element of the show is kind of the return to form in the sense that, like, you know, season 2 was all of these characters. It was very dramatic.
lot.
It was
Yeah,
very
yeah,
drawn
yeah. It
out.
was a
There
lot
were
to
so many things
digest.
going on, right? So season 3 was a little bit of a return to form. It simplified things a bit, kind of brought things back into the whole like two detective world,
Right.
right? And I like that dynamic. I'm great with that. So the thing that I dislike the most about the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the payoff. I think the last episode, and essentially where we wind up, story-wise,
Okay.
conclusion-wise rather, is extremely disappointing. I'm okay with the slow episodes. Like, I'm okay with the slow burn. I'll get through it. Like, that's fine.
I'm invested now. Like I have to get through it.
Yes. But the payoff has to really fire on all cylinders and be like, I just want more from it. I just wanted more from it. And I didn't really get that. So that was, for me, that was my biggest dislike if I
wanted
if
more.
I had to do it.
You
I
wanted
wanted
more.
I
You wanted
wanted
a bigger
more.
payoff.
But I liked the return to form, and I wanted more.
Yeah.
Okay?
I feel it also has to be like disappointing for the actors too. I would think.
Maybe.
Like you invest such great performances into. God, you have to know that a story is a letdown because you're reading the script,
Yeah.
right? But you have a job to fulfill.
Yeah, I mean, from a character piece, like I think, you know, I could see where they would enjoy it. It's definitely dynamic, I think, in the sense of his, in some of the character arcs. Like I think there is some complexity. I think there's something to be said there. Like if you were an actor, where that would be appealing, and I could see why you'd want to get involved in the True Detective series.
Right.
I just think, you know, I don't know. The payoff is, I can't imagine you'd have read the script and been like, oh my gosh, this is where you want to wind up. But maybe. I don't
Unless
know.
you, I mean,
Again, like I said, I think if you're looking at the character as a whole, maybe you would feel it's very like developed
yeah.
and like there's a lot there. So
all of the
I don't know.
characters were great. Just don't. Even down to the people who had limited screen time, like
Yeah.
Julie's mother. She did a good job. What was the father's name?
I have that written down.
Tom,
Bam.
Tom Purcell.
Love that.
played by a guy named Scoot.
Good old
Scoot McNairy.
He did a really good job selling his performance, and I was convinced he was guilty. I mean, he was innocent. Like that's how invested in these performances I were. I was. Like,
I'm
he's
confused.
innocent.
Was he not innocent? I thought he was.
Did he know about the?
I don't think that there was anything that suggested he knew. I know Lucy knew.
Right,
his
Lucy.
wife.
He didn't know, right? That he was innocent.
I don't think anything ever suggested that. Maybe he had inklings, but I don't think that he.
Yeah, he didn't know. But they tried to pin it on him. He was like, "Why do you think I would do this?"
Yeah.
I was like, he didn't do it.
Again, another weird,
Yeah.
like kind of like plot thing. There was like where it could have used.
I mean, you guess
it
you
could have
gotta
used a
pin it
little
on
bit
somebody,
more
right?
closure for me to feel
Right.
better about his character ultimately. But
Yeah.
so the kind of return to form. I talked a little bit about this. It obviously goes back to a similar storyline format, right? Compared to season 1. Good or bad thing for you? Did you like that? Did you?
I liked it. I liked. That's why I fell in love with season 1.
Yeah.
Like seeing Russ sit there, like not giving a shit.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you about the case back then,
Sure.
like drinking Coors Lights and drinking cigarettes. Seeing him like in a really kind of degraded washed up, kind
Place.
of I don't give a shit attitude,
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
detective, to seeing him back in his 007 form, like Hunt
great.
being a true detective. I thought that was great. And then so we go back to that kind of identity in season 3. I was excited about it, but it just didn't lead anywhere.
Yeah,
I was hoping for a big shootout.
I was really glad, and I mentioned this earlier. I think that like one of the best parts of the show is kind of the return to form.
Yeah.
I really was big on that. I will say, kind of the other hand of that statement would be that there were some similarities that were maybe a little too similar. We've talked about this
Just a little bit,
but like
yeah,
there
just
were
a
some
little bit.
there were some like threads that were just kind of very, very reminiscent, almost like you kind of took a draft of season 1 and were like, let me change this a little bit and like just tweak it and make the story go a different
They
place.
did build on it.
Because the two, like you have like the two cops, kind of the same characters, even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm the quiet guy that has this dark past that like
And I gotta
knows
do my
all these
job.
things. That's like really good at what I do,
the other one's
but
like,
like
I'm just
no one
gonna do a job,
appreciates
right?
me.
Yeah.
And the other guy is just kind of like I'm a cop and I'm shitty and I'm mad all the time and like I'm just gonna,
God damn it, Purple, get your head
shoot
out
and
your
drink my
ass.
way to the top, which is what he does, right? And so there's kind of like these similarities where I'm kind of like, this is,
Yeah, it was just like,
inability to like write a female character with depth.
Yes.
I mean,
Again.
the wife was good. She was good. I wanted more though. I wanted to know where we wound up with her. Like, how did she die? She died.
Yeah, we never found out how she died.
So much work was put into her and kind of trying to elevate her.
And she just shows up as an
She did a
angel.
great job, and I liked a lot of components of her character. I really did. It still struggled to like raise out of a sideline character for me. I don't know.
I kind of got annoyed with her.
That's mine.
I got tired of seeing her.
The
just kind of-
relationship got a little tired.
just-
because it never really
Yeah.
felt like they were that into each other. It was kind of like mostly
He's this real distant,
bickering.
manly man.
Yeah.
You
Like they
know,
got married because they
He
just
reminds me
found
of,
each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
He
I don't
just reminds me of a old black guy that came from the war. Just real cold,
Yeah.
real off. Like I got it, but I was like, we don't need the relationship with his wife. We don't need this. So yeah.
All right. Let's talk about. We've kind of touched on this a little bit. The ending of the show, right?
The letdown.
The letdown, as we said. It felt like a scramble to kind of conclude things.
It did.
The final episode. So, in your opinion, like the final episode, was the final episode intentional, or was it kind of like a Hail Mary to just get as much done as we could?
It felt like that. It felt
that's
like
how- yeah, that's how
there
I
was so
felt a
much
little
show
bit.
build up, and it felt like the script was kind of rushed and like, oh man, this will be a good scene. This will be a good scene. Write it. We gotta get this final draft in.
Yeah.
The last 15 minutes of that show, of the final episode, just was, what am I watching? What have I watched for the past 8 weeks to get here?
Everyone. You had to. You had
How
to
do
a
I-
little bit at the end of
yeah.
that
I was
be
like,
like,
Huh?
okay, all right.
And again, I'm not bashing it because I definitely enjoyed my watch.
Yeah,
I just was let down,
sure.
Again,
There's so many components to it that are like fantastic and really well done and executed. Like
But
it's
you
a
want it to
high,
finish strong.
It's a high
Yeah.
caliber show, no
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
how you like cut it, right? It's a very high caliber show. It's just the ending was not what you ultimately wanted, and having the slow burn, like season 1. Not to get too far off track here, but season 1 was pretty consistently like it's slow, fast. Like it had like a very good rhythm
Yeah.
of character development and action, character development and intensity and whatever, right? Like it had this really good pattern, and
Yeah.
this season really
Not
struggled
enough
to
action,
ever
too.
establish. Like
Yeah.
it never got a rhythm for balancing that. It just ultimately, I felt like at the end of it, I was just glad that it was over.
Yep.
Glad that I was out of it and I didn't have to commit.
Yeah, I don't gotta
Sunday
come
night.
back here. Good, I finished it. It's under my belt. I'll wait for season 4.
Yeah,
I will watch season 4.
Okay, so and that brings me to another good point, right? So this show, True Detective in particular, is a highly anticipated show, very much talked about. Everyone's kind of always like there's a lot of hype around it, right? It's very popular when it kind of comes to a new season.
Right.
Is this
a lot of hype?
In my opinion, I think this really hurts the show in
The
a lot
brand?
of ways.
Brand of
I
it?
think it hurts the brand, if you will. Like this show, season 3 rather, would have, I think, functionally would have been much more successful as a standalone
Something different.
series, mini-series, not affiliated to True Detective, because True Detective kind of puts this,
I think
puts it on a
maybe-
pedestal.
Yeah,
little bit,
and
right?
in the interesting facts, we state that this was supposed to be something else. I think it was supposed to be something else. He presented it, and they're like, "No, make this True Detective."
Yeah,
and we'll just pay you
and
more.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine HBO is sitting around like, just like, oh yeah, I mean, they want season 1 again.
I guess he wrote it, and they were
They
like,
want season
"Where's
one
True
again."
Detective?" It's like, "I don't have that, but I have this."
Yeah. It's close.
Yeah, it's close, but it's not
basically,
that.
yeah.
I'm still writing that. So that'll probably be what season 4 is, what he actually wrote, and let's hope it's good.
I'm so nervous for season 4. Okay. All right. So fan theories. We stated our interpretation of the story, which I think is relatively accurate to like what was like how it ended. But there are a lot of fan theories, which we're not going to get into those because that's far and wide. But do you buy into the conspiracies of like the true plot being something that's beneath the surface throughout the entire show and never really ultimately unveiled unless you're really seeking it out and reading between the lines? Like, do you think that there is like, does Nick have a game plan that's greater than what we are being
He's building a
led on
universe,
to?
a universe of True Detectives.
Not a universe necessarily, but
Is it going to come back around? Is that what you're?
Well,
not even that. Like, is there more to it?
is there a
or
larger cell that he
Correct.
just hasn't gotten to yet?
Are there things that just?
I don't think he has a plan. I think he's just putting them out.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, is he super methodical about it? And are there like all these underlying storylines that he's intentionally not tying up because there's things that we're just not picking up on? Like, am I too stupid to understand the true conclusion of season 3, or is it
yes, but
is it as ineffective as we thought it was?
I don't think that's the
Because
case.
a lot of fans are like,
it's-
yeah, but this means that, and this means this, and that means this, and that, and this means that, and then it's like, okay, I guess if you're looking at it from that perspective, then sure, it's super creative, but
So, all right, True Detective is just a show, right? There's no
course.
source material. It's not a comic book movie. It's not from a book. It's not from a novel. A guy sat down and wrote out a really good show. So for there to be all of these crazy fan theories and connections about it are just you're kind of overindulging in it.
so you're saying it's what we got is what he intended. There's no deeper subplots
He's
that
got a room full of
that
writers,
pay
right?
off in a greater way.
Right. So, from my low-level knowledge of how writer rooms work, right? You write a script and then you present it to a room full of writers, and then everyone's like, they go over it as a whole thing, and then they present it to the actors and actresses. Right?
Sure.
So I just kind of feel like he presented it, and then the writers were like, "Oh, we can expand on this, expand on that," and then no one had a final plan.
Yeah. So they kind of put out all of these threads and just
Yeah.
didn't necessarily decide to tie them all off at the end.
So what I'm trying to get to, for the way season 3 ended, and then to think that there may be a larger conspiracy that will eventually get, no, not at all.
All right, very good.
Is it in the plan? No. Will they do it? Possibly.
Possibly.
But nah, I don't think there's an actual plan for that.
All right. This brings me to my favorite part of the show.
The villain? The bad guy.
Well, it's tough for this episode. Because the first thing we gotta do is to decide who the villain is. So I've got a list
Which
here.
I like this. We do shows too. And shows can kind of like this, and like we did with Haunting of Hill House.
It's not super
it's not
transparent.
really transparent of who that villain is. This is
Ambiguity is big on this particular season, so.
It's a crutch.
Who is the villain? All right. So I have one possibility here is the mother, right? Lucy.
She does the most villainous
She does
thing
some
here.
damage.
You
I
sell
mean,
your
she's
kid.
selling
Yeah.
her child for play dates. Okay.
With a
know.
woman who takes medication and has a handler. Come on.
It seems evil.
That's very selfish, evil.
Although, like, I don't know. If somebody was like, "Hey, I'll, pay you if I can hang out with your kid." You say yes.
It's very
Probably not.
never
All right,
lavish.
Mr. June. This is the second option.
Mr. June.
Hoyt's household manager, right? So he was complicit in the whole thing, essentially. He was there to kind of, help bring the relationship to
Yeah.
fruition in the very
He's the
beginning.
handler I was talking
I
about.
get it. He helps
Yeah.
her escape ultimately, but
He's the redemption
he
character.
also retains the truth forever.
And never
he could have
says
gone to
anything.
the authorities. At
He could
any
have said it
time.
the first time they came to him. Like, look,
Yes.
because you had the knowledge of that I tried to let her go. What were you scared of then? This show could have been over in the second episode.
Very quickly, Harris James. This is Hoyt's security officer. The
Oh,
manager kind of like Hoyt Security, right? Also complicit, but was it ever really unveiled like how involved he was? Like I don't know if they ever confirmed that he actually killed Lucy or not.
I felt like it was like an unnecessary death, kind of.
I don't know. She was already getting money. I mean,
He
how
was-
upset- it was
he
just
was
because she just
more-
wanted to continuously wanted money, so they were just like, oh, we'll
He
kill
was
her.
the Hoyt Company point man. He went out and
Correct,
did the
but did
dirty
they ever
work.
confirm that he actually killed her, or was that just speculated upon?
Oh, I definitely think he killed her.
I mean, we
Like
see
he was there too, right? In LA.
He was in Vegas.
Vegas.
But
He definitely killed
it seems like
I
he was
definitely think
insinuating.
he
Okay,
killed
all right. Finally, my last one is Isabel Hoyt. So, the daughter of Edward Hoyt. She was there
the whole time we didn't know.
kind
Yeah.
of was an accomplice to killing Will Purcell.
Not enough character.
I mean, it's
development
kind of
for me
like
with
I don't
her.
know. Was it like homicide? Like it's not like first degree murder. It's like negligent homicide or something. I mean, they were like in tug of war, and he fell and cracked his skull open.
Not only, I mean,
That's
not
kind
only
of
did
a-
she steal a kid, she killed a kid.
But that's my point. Was it an accident? It seems like play it off like it's an accident, right? The kidnapping of the kid again doesn't
You can't
bode
kidnap
well
kids.
for her because you
definitely
can't
can't kill them. It's not something.
But
you're
here, at the
supposed
same time, she's basically non-existent in the show.
Exactly,
She's
and
like
that's-
a villain
That's
for a
another,
second.
Like, poor, like maybe if she was a character the whole time and we had some character interaction, we don't know what she was like. You couldn't sell us on her maybe being a nice person and just being crazy.
I don't even know what she looks like. There was like a flashback
I'm
of
gonna
her
give you
face.
a hot take rewrite.
I think she was blonde.
What if Mr. June was visiting her in like an asylum
See,
or
because now you're getting into like fan theories
a
and
home
stuff.
the
I
whole
can't-
time? And they showed that, but they didn't. Right?
Fan theories.
Fact checking Josh.
They got odds. They got odds running
The
on
fan,
who the killer is.
yeah, the fan theories are better than the actual. Okay, better than the actual conclusion.
So I mean, just not enough build up
right.
with her.
So
for
could
me to-
just decide this for me. Who is the villain? Okay, you have to pick one. Pick your villain. Pick your favorite villain. Let's act as if
My
they're
favorite?
all villains.
Oh, my favorite is definitely Harris James.
Okay.
He was cold.
He.
I can't breathe. I think you need to bang my ribs up real good. And I would do it to you to try to get out of there.
Oh, he's kind of soft.
I mean, he knew exactly why they were there from the jump when they first came to his office. He played him.
All right.
My type of villain.
Okay.
He played him. He played him right to their.
I'm gonna go with Lucy on this one.
Oh, that's yeah.
It kind of starts and ends a little bit with Lucy. Like,
She sells the kid and then.
well,
yeah.
she sells the kid, which she didn't have to do.
No, you didn't.
She chose to do that, which is kind of the start of this whole mess. She knows she knows a little bit about what's going on. She doesn't know the extent of it, but she never is honest with anybody, any of the police officers. If she was straightforward about the whole Hoyt interaction at the beginning, we never would have had, like, they would have found her. if she would have said yes, the Hoyts had been like renting my daughter. The police officers would have gone to the Hoyts' house that night and
All she had
found
to say
her.
was they were renting my daughter. They threatened my life.
Thank you.
It'd have been over.
So I get it.
But
like,
then it would have been over.
yes, correct. So
But then we would have
Isabel.
had dumb plot threads like like Tom Purcell being gay.
Isabel, nice. I read about that. That's a caveat that I can't even get into. But so Isabel, like, ultimately kidnapped, which is not good. But to be fair, she was essentially adopting in many ways. Like, you could adopt somebody's child and be like, "Hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 because you can't raise your child. I would like to do it." And the courts would be like, "Okay, if you insist, like, we can make that happen."
I mean, I can't say
It's
that she
like-
wasn't raising her child the right way until she started selling her off for playdates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
As
know.
far as I knew, they were having a regular childhood and having a good, fun life. And then the mother's tricking her out. you know what I
Lucy,
mean?
for me, was the linchpin in the story. She was kind of the.
She had to be
She
there,
was the
yeah.
starting point. She had all the clues. She had all the answers to all of the questions. Didn't provide any of them. Ultimately died with the secret, and then like kind
She
of
did die
created
with the
this
secret.
whole
Yeah.
string of like just complications. She could have really solved things in the
Early.
beginning.
She could have said, she could have blamed the Hoyts.
Don't
I guess-
sell your kids. This is a lesson that I think
Please,
most parents
don't
like. It's
sell
like
your-
101 first thing you learn.
Stranger danger.
Yeah.
Like-
I'm pretty sure they hand you the child after it's born. It's like, hey, by the way, don't
It-
give
it
this
comes
to
with this-
someone else.
It comes with a little manual.
This is yours.
Yes.
Yours.
Just in case you're confused, this is yours.
Okay.
Don't give it away to someone else. Okay.
Happens too much these days.
Really does. How does it stack up against season 1, season 3, or season 1, 2? Sorry, season 1 and 2, villain-wise. Not that we knew who the
I
villain
can't
was
even
in season
remember who
2,
the villain
but
is in season 2.
How, like, villain-wise, where does this rank for you?
It did a good job of not revealing exactly who was the bad person from the jump.
Yep.
So I'll give it props there. A lot of bad people did a lot of bad things. Even our detectives. It kind of
Do you
hints.
need a mute?
It kind of even alludes to the fact that Hayes and Roland did something,
Yeah.
right? But we don't know what they do, what exactly it is, until they kill Harris James. But it season 1, season 3, season 2, because I still don't
Yeah.
know what happened.
The villain in season 1 haunts my dreams.
Oh my, yeah, he's up there. He's up there with like Leatherface. He's crazy.
Vince Vaughn also haunts my dreams. Not a villain, though. And then season 3, I don't know. Everyone seems like they just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Doesn't seem like anyone was really a villain.
I'm gonna give you.
I don't feel like anybody set out with ill intent.
I think everybody just showed up to shoot.
Everybody
did their
was-
best job and had no idea what was gonna happen.
Everyone
after
just kind of stumbled into it. Okay.
that. It's all those HBO contracts.
My God. All right. The season
Where we at?
3. We talked about this a little bit already.
Can you feature the bullet a little more?
Let's.
Can you put
I
that?
would love to do that.
Can you put
This
that,
is a
like, up front?
fantastic beverage.
Right up front. That's fine. You don't need to
It
move
might be
anything.
the
just
best
that.
whiskey.
Might be the best we've had on the show so
Yeah,
far. Okay, so season 3, we've like I said, we've touched upon this before. Let's put a point on it. Does it belong in the True Detective series? Better off on its own. Better off as
Season 2 doesn't.
no
belong?
3.
Oh, it has to.
Has to belong in the series.
In order for that brand to stay alive and keep people interested and keep coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly, I can't say I would anticipate it more if it was a standalone. I'd just be like, oh, this is something from Charles Ali's, and maybe I'll watch
You
it.
just say, Nick Pizzolatto wrote this thing. It's a new show. We're gonna call it.
It should
Whatever.
have, but I wouldn't. Can't say I would have been as excited.
Everybody would have watched it, but yeah, I'm
I-
with you. Okay.
I can't say I would have been as excited about it if it weren't True Detective,
All right.
because I'm so sold on season 1.
I'm with you in spirit, but not in person, because
think
I
you-
think it would have been better on its own.
I think your idea of selling it as a Nick Pizzolatto kind of thing gets maybe 80% of the True Detective fans versus saying it's True Detective gets 100% of them.
That's fine. I'm the 20% that would have,
You know,
Would
that
have watched it.
didn't.
anyway.
I just didn't like this. Like I just didn't. It didn't. It wasn't good. It
like it.
wasn't good.
I'll say it was better than season 2, and if it was a standalone, who's to say the next season of season 3 would have been any better?
Yeah,
if he
that's
did.
fair. That's fair.
Season 3 could have been something else and much worse, and we've been totally pissed.
Where do you go with season 4? Season 4 comes
Season
out.
4,
It's on its way, right? Let's say it is.
I
Where
get
do you
in,
go?
I get Lucy Liu. I write a dope ass female character, and I get like who's my other off lead? I get damn, they wasted Colin Farrell. I do a female detective, but we do it the right way, and don't make her like corny like season 2.
Yeah.
I don't like the pedal ring recycling.
Got you.
Let's
Okay.
let's do something with let's keep it with the times, maybe terrorism, something like that.
That's a real left fielder right there.
Yeah, no one would expect that. Maybe terrorism.
I think terrorism's kind of been done.
In a detective setting.
NCIS.
But again, like.
Done. Terrorism, detective.
Okay, but as soon as we start dealing with terrorism, let's not act like it's going to be just a detective that's solving it. Like
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
getting in on that. It's not going to be like this little like hometown murder
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
the distraught cop
It's
has to figure out.
yeah.
So I think for me, season 4, creepy, weird, occult, dark, complex characters, mystery. This is the stuff that I'm looking for. This is what I love so much about season 1. They like scratched it a little bit with season 2, but
People,
really
like,
failed to deliver.
worshiping, like,
I feel like they
yeah.
promised more in season 3, but ultimately
We go heavy into the cult stuff.
didn't
I
bring
can
it
see
out.
that.
Didn't bring it out. For
People
me.
dancing around a fire.
Something. I don't know.
Worshiping
That's what
a
I was looking for.
cow
Okay.
head. You want to rate it?
I think it's time to rate it.
You can never go wrong with Bullet, man. It's a solid A for me.
I'd buy it again.
Yeah, oh, I'd definitely buy this again. If I knew where to buy it, because it's
I've never seen it. I know one place. I just came across it
a
randomly. I
secret
couldn't turn it
version
down.
of Bullet Ride I've never seen before.
Never seen it.
I would rate it. I would rate it a B+ to an A-.
Okay. I give it a suck, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to go, too far.
That's fair. I'll go B+. I think it's absolutely great.
What's wrong with it?
I'm gonna say that. I think it's absolutely great.
It is absolutely great.
I said absolutely really terrible the first time, so I recorrected.
We'll take that out in post.
Yeah, we will. So the minty piece, or like the fresh piece, could be long term maybe a little off-putting. I will drink
I think
this.
they try to
I will
hint at it
drink
with
this.
this screen.
Hey, I don't know. Well, no, the regular rye's got a green label, so this is in keeping with that. Here's the thing. It's a $50 bottle.
As a fifth, like this.
Yes. So the pricing's not terrible, but it's also not
Shareable.
get it all the time.
It's definitely a gift, or
Yeah.
I'm saving for a special
The price point-
nice occasion.
Not that, maybe you could find it a little bit cheaper. I don't know. It was a $50 bottle. I couldn't turn it down because I've never seen it before, so I had to get it. And, the price point's a little high compared to the rest of it, but it is really good.
really good, man.
I could see how like the minty piece, like the little fresh piece, could get a little overwhelming. But
All right. So what do
we've
we
got to
do?
rate the show, though.
the show. Ooh.
I'm confused. I don't remember if we rated the show. Or
So the show
Last
we did-
episode, we did the show first.
Okay. Well, we're changing it.
Here we go.
We're gonna give it bottles of whiskey.
All right, so you
On
give
your
it an
toes.
A. You were a B plus, A minus.
yeah.
I was a B plus.
Yeah.
Is where I landed. So now we're moving on to the show. We're gonna go season 3 out of 5 whiskey bottles.
I'll give it, because of the letdown. The letdown gets it 3 whiskey bottles because I still enjoyed watching it.
Oh gosh, 2 bottles.
That's just like a hyper accurate.
It was. Here's the thing. We've gone over this so much, but the slow burn, the no payoff, never getting into a rhythm. It gets the 2 bottles because it was there were parts that were well done, but you can't throw me 8 episodes and end it that way. I can't watch over 8 hours and have it
Of my life invested and then not a
and
payoff.
end up that way. I don't know. I'm gonna go 2. I want to give it more, and if I was looking at it from a strictly production standpoint.
Obviously, I'm really generous with my score
All right.
these days.
Not everyone's
So-
anything, but
So subscribe,
Subscribe, hit the bell.
like Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't really do Facebook. I don't yet. We should change that.
It's really just aunties.
Damn.
saying, you look good, cousin, on there.
Damn.
never heard that before.
All right.
Oh, you didn't follow some of my aunts then.
Great. Perfect. I love it.
You look good, cousin.
All right, ready? Cheers it up.
Cheers.
Let's dab it up.
Bad guys and bourbon.
Bad guys and bourbon.